Welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we will be talking about the Arizona Senate race and how it really looks like the Republicans are just going to hand over this race to the Democrats in what is typically such a critical swing state in presidential, in Senate, even in many House races in the state. So in this race, we have two very likely to be nominees. That is Ruben Gallego, who is really the presumptive nominee at this point from the Democratic Party. He is a U.S. representative, I think from the 1st District, but I could be wrong on that, from Arizona. And then we have Kari Lake, who you might remember from 2022, because she ran for governor in 2022, an election that she lost, but she still claims she won. And she lost by a very narrow margin to Katie Hobbs, who was just about the weakest possible candidate the Democrats could put up. Someone who barely campaigned, someone who refused to even debate, even though she could easily crush Kari Lake in a debate, and still Katie Hobbs won. And I think that a large factor of that, of why she won, is because of how, really, I'll just say, crazy and partisan and out there Kari Lake seemed to a lot of voters. Remember, Arizona voted for Joe Biden in 2020. I don't have the results up, but Joe Biden won by 11,000 votes, which was by 0.3%. And that is because in the state of Arizona, you have a lot of John McCain-type Republicans. You have a lot of more moderate centrist Republicans. Republicans that switched to Katie Hobbs because Kari Lake was a very, out there, very pro-Trump MAGA. She was from the MAGA wing of the party. She claimed that the 2020 election was fraudulent, and that was basically her whole campaign, was just basically kissing up to Trump and saying, and it was basically about election integrity and making sure that elections are legitimate in Arizona. And that ultimately lost her the election. So even though Katie Hobbs was an extremely weak candidate, Kari Lake may have been even weaker because in the end, she lost. But now she thinks it's a good idea to run for Senate against a candidate who is much stronger than Katie Hobbs, that being Ruben Gallego. And we see this in a new poll that was released from CBS News just a few days ago that shows Ruben Gallego up by 13% on Kari Lake. 13%. Now that is probably not going to happen, I'll just say. But I mean, it just shows you how dominant Gallego is in this race. He leads by 13% here. And then in the others, he leads every single other poll that has been conducted. He leads by 8, by 5, by 2, by 4, by 4, by 3, and then by 13 right here. So basically, this is a gone race for the Republicans, which is really bad news for them because this was at one time looking like a race that they could win, especially when before Kari Lake announced her candidacy, and it could have been anyone. There was talk of Mark Lamb, a sheriff, being the nominee. He is still a candidate, but Kari Lake leads by a lot in this Republican primary, among others. But the party has really come together behind Kari Lake, I will say, and she is increasingly looking like she will be the nominee, and if she is, again, it really just throws the race to the Democrats, because she is the weakest possible candidate they could put up. She is a bottom-tier candidate. Her only political history, or electoral history, I should say, is running a failed campaign against an extremely weak candidate. Now, Ruben Gallego is no Katie Hobbs. He is, I'm sure, down for a debate. He has raised so much money, and he's out there campaigning, it seems like, every day when he's not in Congress, when he's not in Washington. So, Ruben Gallego is definitely a much better candidate than Katie Hobbs, and Kari Lake is probably an even worse candidate than she was in 2022 because she still talks about all that election stuff. And now with abortion on the ballot likely also in Arizona, it just really boosts Democrats. So this race is over for Katie Hobbs, and this is a huge blow to Republicans because, as I was saying before, this Arizona is always a critical swing state. It's a state that is said to decide elections, decide control in the Senate, as well as who wins the presidency. So looking at the Senate in 2024, we have all of the basically almost or safe states filled in, and then states like Texas, Nebraska, Texas, Nebraska, very likely to go Republican at this point. And then we have Maryland, Pennsylvania, both states very increasingly likely to go Democrat. And Tammy Baldwin and Elisa Slotkin probably both hang on in Wisconsin and Michigan. And, I've got Montana here. That's definitely a swing state. Forgot to fill that. But I mean, Arizona, should be a state that does decide to control, but it's not. I mean, we at this point right now, I don't know how this will change later on. I really don't see it changing much, but at this point, it's not even one that we need to consider. So, when you go through these scenarios, you see, Democrats could win Nevada, Montana, Ohio, and then all they need to do is win Arizona, to win to keep it 50-50. Or you could say, Republicans, if Democrats do hold on to Nevada, Montana, and Ohio, all Republicans have to do is just win and flip Arizona. That's all they have to do. But that gives them the majority. There's these scenarios where a state like Arizona really comes into play because every seat, has that one Senate seat. It's all the same. But that's not the case. And Democrats are going to win Arizona. So now Republicans, Democrats can divert resources, both parties really can, from Arizona to go to other places. But now Republicans have to look at other areas. Once before, a little while ago, they could say, we might get Arizona, and that might get us the majority. We could bet a little bit on Arizona as well as a few other states, and hopefully we win one of them to win majority. But now Republicans can't even do that. They have to focus on other areas because I don't see, especially after this new polling, how Kari Lake can possibly win. They have to look at other areas. They have to look at Montana. They have to look at Ohio, these two states primarily. Nevada looks increasingly competitive. They could flip that. But it is not Arizona. Arizona is gone for the Republicans. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Helps out a lot if you subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment. That'd be great. But again, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.